Hey, I'm a frustrated and angry mother, age 47, and I need to vent about a situation that has left me feeling devastated and betrayed. My 16-year-old daughter, let's call her Sarah, has run away from home, and I'm struggling to understand why she would do such a selfish and immature thing. A few days ago, I came home from work to find a crumpled note on Sarah's bed. As I read the words on the page, my frustration turned to anger. Sarah had written a scathing letter, blaming my husband and me for her unhappiness and dissatisfaction with life. She accused us of not caring about her opinions, of ignoring her, and of being the cause of all her problems. The entire thing was very immature, like a 5-year-old had written it, blaming us for her bad grades and stuff, taking no responsibility for her own actions, using us to explain things away. I couldn't believe what I was reading. My husband and I have worked hard to provide for Sarah and give her a comfortable life. I've worked myself to the bone to buy her the clothes she wants, the pricey phones that she insists she needs, everything. We've done our best to set boundaries and provide guidance, but it seems like it was never enough for her. She's always been a handful, but this time she has taken it to a whole new level. Sarah's note revealed her immaturity and lack of responsibility. Instead of facing her problems head-on and working through them like a responsible young adult, she chose to run away from her responsibilities and abandon her family. It's a slap in the face to all the sacrifices we've made for her. She's acting like a selfish brat and expecting us to pick up the pieces after her like we always do. But not anymore. If she thinks that she can live independently, she can try it. Let her realize how hard it is to be an adult, and she'll come crawling back, desperate to move back in. I bet that when that happens, the few chores she has won't seem like slave labor, as she calls it in her note. Since Sarah's departure, my husband has been scrambling to locate her. He has been making frantic calls to her friends, checking her social media, and contacting the authorities. It's been a nightmare, and I can't believe my daughter would put us through this. He's desperate to get her back, and furious with me for not being concerned. He thinks that I'm being a heartless mother, but in my opinion, tough love is what Sarah needs right now. Clearly, being understanding parents isn't giving her what she needs, and so I will play the villain for her. As a parent, I'm grappling with a mix of emotions. I'm angry at Sarah for her selfishness and immaturity. I'm frustrated that she couldn't communicate her feelings like a responsible adult instead of running away like a child. I feel betrayed by her actions and hurt by the things she said in her note. I can't understand why she would choose to throw away the comforts of home and the love of her family for some fleeting moment of rebellion. I'm reaching out to the Reddit community for some tough love advice during this challenging time. Has anyone else dealt with a runaway teenager who blames their parents for their problems? How did you handle it? Any suggestions on how to locate a runaway and set boundaries with a rebellious teenager would be greatly appreciated. Withdrawn and unresponsive, which has made it challenging to have meaningful conversations with her. She has also been resistant to accepting feedback or acknowledging her mistakes, which has created tension between us. She ignores me when I try to speak to her, or worse, throws a fit and kicks me out of my room. Of course, I can't allow this, and that leads to even more tension in the household. And as for the pressure I put on her to get straight A's in school, well, I don't see anything wrong with having high expectations for my child. I want her to succeed in life, and good grades are important for that. If she can't handle the pressure, then maybe she needs to toughen up. Maybe if she didn't spend all her time on her phone and more time studying, I wouldn't need to ride her this hard about her grades. I just want her to get into a good school and get a good job, but she seems to think I push her for the fun of it. I've even tried to give her an incentive to study by telling her that I will take out the loan for tuition under my name so that her credit score stays good, as long as she makes the monthly payments. She just screams at me that other parents do this anyway, and that it shouldn't even be a big deal. My husband keeps suggesting that I need to be more patient and understanding with Sarah, but I think I've been a great parent. I've always provided for her and given her what she needs. I don't understand why she's acting out like this. Sure, I've been a little tough once or twice, but that's what she needs, someone to drive her to greatness. My mother would hit me with a belt whenever I misbehaved, and I grew up to be an upstanding citizen who respected my parents. Sarah is lucky that I go so much easier on her than my mother did on me. As for involving the police, I don't think it's necessary. Sarah will come back when she's broke and starving, and I don't want to escalate the situation by getting the authorities involved. She's probably just being dramatic and attention-seeking, like typical teenagers. My husband says that it's disgusting that I'm being so callous in this situation, but personally I think that he's the one at fault. He's spoiled our daughter beyond fixing, and that's why she thinks that she can get away with things like this. Because she thinks Daddy will always be there to chase after her and clean up her mess. Not this time, though. I appreciate the support and suggestions from the Reddit community, but I just don't see how I've been at fault here. I'm a caring and loving parent, and I've always done my best for my daughter. I'm going to keep doing what I think is right, and wait for Sarah to come back on her own. People have been telling me that I should take a look at my parenting style and ask myself if I'm really doing the best I can, and the answer is yes. I've done everything for her. This is just her way, to be selfish and to seek attention. I hope this update clarifies things for those who have been following our situation. I'll continue to update as the situation develops. Keep us in your thoughts, and feel free to share any advice or comments you have. Thanks. Update. Hello again, Reddit. I wanted to give you all an update on the ongoing situation with my daughter, Sarah. It's been a week since she ran away from home, and it's been a difficult time for our family. My husband has been pushing me to involve the police, but I'm still hesitant to take that step. I don't want to waste anyone's time, especially not the dedicated officers of the law. They have drug dealers and scum to be dealing with. They're far too busy to drop everything to search for a spoiled teenager who just wants attention. In my previous posts, I mentioned that Sarah left a note blaming my husband and me for her unhappiness. But let me be clear, I don't think I've done anything wrong. Sarah has been spoiled her entire life by my husband and I. I believe that by giving her everything that she ever needed, I have failed her as a mother. She isn't at all self-reliant. She's 16 but refuses to learn to drive. She barely has a social life. She just sits in her bedroom all day while her father and I fawn over her. But that's over starting now. I'm done with mollycoddling her. Growing up, I was taught the value of hard work and contributing to the household chores. I believe it's crucial for children to learn how to manage household tasks and take ownership of their responsibilities. Sarah is a part of our family, and just like everyone else, she needs to learn how to contribute and take care of the household. Sarah has always had a tendency to be lazy and avoid chores, which is why I have been persistent in reminding her of her responsibilities. I believe it's my role as a parent to hold her accountable and ensure that she learns important life skills that will serve her well in the future. In her note, Sarah also mentioned that she feels like she's constantly being told to clean up after the family. Well, the truth is that our family has a schedule and a system for sharing household tasks. I've always made sure that Sarah's chores are age-appropriate and not overly burdensome. I've encouraged her to contribute in a way that is fair and reasonable for her age and abilities. It's not about treating her like a maid, but rather teaching her the importance of being responsible and contributing to the functioning of our household. I believe that by learning to manage household chores, Sarah will develop valuable life skills such as time management, organization, and accountability, which will benefit her in the long run. She has often pushed back and resisted her responsibilities, which has resulted in conflicts between us. Despite my efforts to explain the importance of chores and responsibility, Sarah has often viewed it as unfair treatment and burdensome. She thinks that it's my job to clean up after her father and her, as the woman of the house. But I'm not entertaining that. I understand that Sarah may be feeling overwhelmed or stressed with her chores and responsibilities, but I believe it's essential for her to learn these skills as she transitions into adulthood. It's not about being harsh or treating her unfairly, but rather preparing her for the real world where responsibilities are a part of daily life. Sarah's father and I work for a living. Both of us work full-time jobs, and both of us deal with a lot of stress at work. When I get home, I don't want to be constantly cleaning. Yes, I leave it to Sarah to keep the house clean, to cook dinner during the weekdays, and to do the laundry. When I was her age, I was doing everything day and night. I would get up with my crying siblings in the middle of the night while my mother slept. I grew up fine and know the value of hard work. That is what I have tried to instill in Sarah, but she is just far too lazy to do anything that isn't scroll through TikTok. In her note, Sarah also mentioned that she feels like I barely speak to her except to yell at her every day. Well, that's just not true. I talk to Sarah when I need to, and if she doesn't like being disciplined for her mistakes, maybe she should stop making them. As a parent, it's my responsibility to set boundaries and enforce rules to ensure that my children grow up to be responsible and respectful individuals. Sarah has made mistakes in the past, and I have had to discipline her accordingly. This includes raising my voice to correct her behavior and hold her accountable for her actions. It's not about yelling at her every day, but rather about teaching her right from wrong and helping her understand the consequences of her actions. I have always tried to communicate with Sarah in a firm but fair manner, and I have explained to her why certain behaviors are not acceptable. Sarah has often been resistant to feedback and discipline, and I found it challenging to get through to her. As a result, there have been instances where I have had to raise my voice to get her attention and make sure she understands the severity of her actions. I have tried to talk to her gently, but Sarah has often been witty. Update 2. My husband has received a lead on Sarah's possible whereabouts, and while I am grateful for any information that could help us locate her, I must admit, I am still furious with her. The hurt and pain she has caused by running away without resolving our issues is immense, and it's not something that can be easily overlooked or brushed aside. I feel like I'm more mad at her than I miss her. Sarah's note mentioned feeling like a maid and being yelled at every day. She moaned on and on about what a drill sergeant I am, but that's just a small part of the story. She has been disrespectful, defiant, and irresponsible. I have tried countless times to communicate with her, to set boundaries and enforce consequences for her actions, but she has constantly pushed me away and rebelled against my authority. As a parent, I have had to make tough decisions and hold her accountable for her behavior. I've read countless parenting books, gone on message boards, consulted my friends, and none of them seem to come to the conclusion that I am to blame, so I don't know why the people of Reddit are so intent on blaming me when I've done my very best throughout all of this. It's frustrating to read comments and messages blaming me for Sarah's disappearance. Parenting is not easy, and I have made mistakes along the way, but I have also tried my best to raise my daughter to be responsible and respectful. I do not deserve to be solely blamed for Sarah's poor choices. She is her own person, capable of making her own decisions. I can tell that all of the people calling me terrible things and claiming that I'm the reason my daughter left are all teenagers themselves. The way they type is immature, and I can just feel their lack of world experience. I don't know what it is about this new generation of kids, but you're all incredibly selfish. You have no work ethic, and you're determined to blame all of your problems on the people who sacrificed everything to raise you. It was a mistake to create your generation, and one that people my age will have to pay for sooner or later. My husband is working tirelessly to locate Sarah, but I am conflicted about whether I can welcome her back home with open arms. The betrayal and pain she has caused have left deep scars, and I am torn between wanting to protect her and hold her accountable for her actions. It's not an easy decision to make. Of course I want her to come home, that's never been the issue. But I'm not sure if she's been gone for long enough to learn her lesson. If my husband and I barge in and save her, it will just reinforce for her that she can hurt us in any way she wants, and we will still take her back. I'm not just a mother, I'm a human being. I can't let these abusive, manipulative techniques of hers go on. It's bad for my health, as well as that of my family. I still love Sarah. There's never been a question of that, and I want her to be safe. But I also want her to learn to appreciate me the way she should. I hope we can find a way to resolve our differences and work towards rebuilding our relationship. But I also need to prioritize the well-being of my family and myself. It's not just about Sarah, but also about ensuring that our home is a safe and healthy environment for everyone. In conclusion, while my husband has received a lead on Sarah's possible whereabouts, I am navigating through a complex and challenging situation. I appreciate the support and understanding from those who recognize that parenting is not always straightforward, and that there are many factors at play. I ask that others refrain from passing judgment without knowing the full story. I am doing my best to handle this situation with grace and strength, and I am hopeful that we can find a resolution that is in the best interest of our family. Thank you for your understanding. Update 3. I can't believe how rude and judgmental some people on Reddit can be. After I shared my story about Sarah's disappearance and my struggles with her behavior, I have received countless hurtful comments and messages. Even after I explained myself in the last post, you people have been so despicable to me that it makes me sick. It's unbelievable how quick people are to blame me and make assumptions without knowing the full story. I regret ever posting that initial post and opening myself up to this negativity. It's sickening how ready people are to comment on the private lives of others without having all of the facts. You people should be ashamed. Instead of offering support or understanding, I have been attacked and labeled as a bad parent. It's disgusting. Parenting is not easy, and I have done my best to raise Sarah to be responsible and respectful. But apparently, I'm just a terrible person in the eyes of some of these juvenile Reddit users. I've been deemed guilty in the court of public opinion. I'm the one who has been hurt by Sarah's actions, yet I'm the one who has been treated like the villain. It's ridiculous. Sarah has been disrespectful, defiant, and irresponsible. She chose to run away instead of resolving our issues like a mature person. But somehow, I'm the one who's at fault according to these self-righteous Reddit users. Even my own husband refuses to understand where I'm coming from. He's refused to talk to me for the past couple of days, and has been sleeping on the couch. It feels like I'm being completely crucified for trying to be a good parent. I feel like I'm being victimized here. I came to Reddit for support and understanding, but all I've received is criticism and negativity. It's disheartening and disappointing. I'm going through an incredibly challenging time, and instead of empathy, I'm facing judgment and hostility. I love Sarah and want her to be safe, but I'm also entitled to my feelings of anger and hurt. It's not easy to forgive and forget when someone you care about has caused you so much pain. Yet these Reddit users seem to think I should just brush it off and welcome her back home without question. Well, I won't apologize for setting boundaries and holding Sarah accountable for her actions. I won't apologize for being a concerned and responsible parent. And I won't apologize for sharing my story on Reddit in the hopes of finding support. But I do regret ever posting that first post and subjecting myself to the toxic and judgmental attitudes of some Reddit users. To those rare few who have offered kind words and understanding, I appreciate your support. To the others who have been rude and insensitive, I have nothing to say. You clearly lack empathy and understanding, and I won't waste my time engaging with such negativity any further. I have just received some surprising news about Sarah's whereabouts. After weeks of searching, my husband was able to locate her in a homeless shelter a few states away. We don't know how she got there, and I don't know how he found her. I think he managed to track her phone or something. He hasn't been speaking to me very much, so I'm not very up to date on the investigation. Of course, I am relieved to know that she is safe and has been found, but I am also struggling with conflicting emotions. On one hand, I am grateful that my husband is on his way to pick her up and bring her back home. As a parent, my instinct is to protect and care for my child, and I am relieved that Sarah has been found and will soon be under our roof again. However, on the other hand, I am still feeling incredibly hurt and angry about her actions that led to her running away in the first place. I don't feel like she has truly learned her lesson. If things go right back to the way they were, I don't think that I can take it. The atmosphere in the house being so tense, the constant screaming matches between my daughter and I, they're just too much to deal with. I'm scared I'll collapse from the stress or something. My husband asked me if I would like to come with him to pick up Sarah, and I was really torn. Part of me wanted to rush to her side and bring her home, as the thought of her being homeless breaks my heart. But another part of me was hesitant. I am still processing the hurt and betrayal I feel from her actions, and I am unsure if I am ready to fully forgive and forget. I'm also not sure if I would be able to see her without bursting into tears. What if she's in rags? What if she's half-starved and barely recognizable? I know that I wanted her to struggle a little, but I thought she'd be crashing on a friend's couch or something, not in a homeless shelter 3 states away. As a mother, my love for Sarah is unwavering, but I also need to prioritize my own emotions and well-being. It's not easy to confront the fact that my daughter chose to run away instead of resolving our issues in a mature manner. It's not easy to let go of the anger and hurt that I feel. After much contemplation, I have made the difficult decision to stay behind for now, while my husband goes to pick up Sarah from the homeless shelter. I need some time to process my emotions and decide what is best for me and my family. It's a challenging situation, and I am doing my best to navigate through it with grace and strength. It'll take a day before they get back home, as she's so far away. My husband is going to get a hotel room for the night, and I'll see the both of them the day after tomorrow. He'll be driving all night tonight to get to her before anything happens, as she doesn't know that we know where she is. I appreciate the support and understanding of those who recognize the complexity of this situation. This is a deeply emotional and personal journey for me, and I ask for privacy and respect as I continue to grapple with these conflicting emotions and try to find a way to move forward in the best way possible for everyone involved. Update 5. Hey Reddit, I want to provide an update on the situation with my daughter Sarah. In my previous post, I shared that my husband and I found her at a homeless shelter after she ran away from home. However, Things have taken a turn for the worse as my husband is now furious with me for how I've treated Sarah. When we brought Sarah back home, my heart broke seeing how thin and withdrawn she had become. As soon as she came in the front door, I tried to hug her, but she just shrugged me off like I was nothing. Then she ran to her bedroom and locked the door. I'll admit that I was a little mad then, and I may have gone overboard, but I was going to march right up there and yell at her for being so selfish and putting her father and I through all of this pain. I looked at my husband, expecting him to support me, back me up as a parent, but he was glaring at me. Instead of offering support, my husband unleashed his anger on me. He blamed me entirely for Sarah's actions, accusing me of being too harsh and pushing her away. He was yelling full throttle at me, like he's never yelled before, and it was awful. I had tears in my eyes, and I expected him to realize that he had upset me. But no, he just continued yelling. Of course, I tried to defend myself, explaining that I had set boundaries and enforced consequences for Sarah's behavior, but my husband wouldn't listen. He was adamant that I had mishandled the situation and was responsible for Sarah's decision to run away. I think that Sarah must have spent the car ride home complaining about me, blaming me for all of her problems, and my gullible husband bought it. I felt defensive and hurt by his accusations. I love our daughter deeply and have always tried to be a responsible parent. I've made mistakes, but I believe Sarah also needs to take responsibility for her actions. Despite my efforts to explain, my husband insisted that we needed to talk, but said that he was too angry to look at me tonight. Then he walked away, and I think he's been avoiding me, because any room I go into that I know he's been in, he's suddenly gone when I enter. I'm struggling with conflicting emotions. I feel guilty for my mistakes, but also frustrated that my husband is putting all the blame on me. I'm scared of what my husband is going to say to me when we talk. I can't shake the feeling that something bad is going to happen, and I'm going to be blamed for it. I'm not sure how to handle this situation moving forward. It's a difficult time for our family, and I'm looking for advice or similar experiences from the Reddit community. Thanks for your support. Update 6. I don't know what's happening. I'm in a state of shock, really. I'm devastated to share that my husband has asked for a divorce and accused me of being abusive towards our daughter Sarah. But I want to make it clear that I'm innocent and refuse to accept any blame. In my previous posts, I've shared about Sarah running away and my husband being furious with me. But now, the situation has escalated to a whole new level, as my husband is using these accusations as a basis for ending our marriage. I was shocked and hurt when my husband told me that he believes I've been emotionally and verbally abusive towards Sarah. I vehemently denied the accusations and defended my actions, explaining that I was only disciplining her and trying to teach her responsibility. I never thought that my husband would turn against me in this way. I know that I haven't done anything wrong, no matter what anyone says, but to lose his support is devastating. My husband's response to me trying to defend myself was unexpected and cruel. He told me that he would be taking custody of our children and that I needed to move out of our home, the home that we bought together, to raise our family in. I just can't understand why he is taking such extreme measures, and it feels like a betrayal from someone I thought I could trust unconditionally. I know for a fact that Sarah is the one poisoning my husband against me. I'm convinced that she's manipulating him and painting me in a negative light to gain sympathy. I can't fathom why my husband would believe her over me, his own wife, who has been with him for years and knows me better than anyone else. I expect she spent the entire journey home from the shelter brainwashing him and telling him about what a terrible person and mother I am. I'm heartbroken and devastated by the turn of events. I never imagined that my marriage would end this way. I love my children deeply and can't bear the thought of being separated from them. It's hard to comprehend that I might lose them in this battle. I know in my heart that I've done nothing wrong and that my husband is being unjust in his actions. I've always been a loving and caring mother, and I've only wanted what's best for my children. I'm seeking legal counsel to fight for my innocence and protect my rights as a parent. I'm confident that the truth will come out, and I will be exonerated from these false accusations. I will do everything in my power to ensure that my children are not taken away from me unjustly. I'm sad that it's had to come to this, but I will fight him with everything I have to keep my children. He can have Sarah, but I won't let either of them poison my little ones against me. I want to thank the Reddit community for your support and understanding. I appreciate those who believe in my innocence and stand by me during this difficult time. Your encouragement gives me strength to keep fighting for justice and clear my name. I will continue to provide updates and fight for what's right.